Welcome to Gulf Coast Weather Solutions. It is the weekend edition show this Saturday morning. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Not much going on the TAMCO Live Doppler radar. We actually start putting that in motion. We see some radar noise over there towards the Lake Charles radar this morning. The Houston radar is currently down with some maintenance this morning. But other than that, pretty calm, pretty quiet across the southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana region. You can even see that if we zoom out, not much going on really into our general region. You can find some showers off towards the west and portions of the Texas Hill Country. Lots of rain this past week. All of that's kind of starting to die down, but now we shift our focus more towards the east. You'll see that area of spin over there. That is an upper level low that is spinning over there into the eastern Gulf. This has a chance for some tropical development. We'll talk more on that in just a second, but that is bringing rounds of showers and thunderstorms and heavy rainfall to portions of Florida, mainly the Florida Panhandle and to portions of western Florida coastline. So you'll be seeing lots of rain over there, but no rain in the forecast for us this weekend, at least until early this week. I don't really start seeing any type of rain chance until possibly Wednesday, and even then it's low, and we'll see if we start seeing some moisture start working its way back in from the east on Thursday and Friday. But thanks to TAMCO showing us what's going on the satellite and radar, and look at those temperatures. It's July, and we could definitely feel it. Middle to upper 70s, almost to the 80-degree mark for a good portion of the I-10 corridor down towards the coast, but the rest of us, you can find some pretty much mid to upper 70s north of the I-10 corridor. Thanks to our sponsor of Silsby Ford. Get you one. Sabine Pass currently at 83, Galveston at 82. They are ready to have a very nice Saturday. Good day to wear some sunscreen. If you're outside today doing construction forecast, working in the garden, playing basketball, I don't know, hanging by the pool, maybe going to the beach, really good day. It's going to be dry. Again, it's going to be hot. That's going to be the main thing that we see this weekend is hot conditions, even as we get into next week. Heat index 100 to 107 today, so definitely take some breaks, stay cool. No relief from the heat. If you get any shower, you get any storm, that coverage is going to be around 1%. I'm telling you, it's no rain is in sight for us at all this weekend as high pressure builds in, thanks to Modern Concrete showing us what to expect for today. Now, again, just kind of talked about this. Over there in the eastern Gulf, you can see lots of convection kind of bubbling just off the coast of Florida. This is that lingering frontal boundary that's kind of snuck into the eastern Gulf. We're seeing this broad area of low pressure. We're not really seeing the pressure drop too much. The pressure's still pretty high. So in the short term, I don't expect this to really kind of do much of anything except for bring lots of rain to portions of Florida. But as we start getting into early to middle of this week, there's really no good steering. That high pressure ridge that you see kind of building over our area, we'll see another ridge kind of build over the southern plain. So in other words, there's no good flow. There's no good steering. This doesn't shove to the east. It doesn't shove north. It doesn't have really anywhere to go. So by the time we get into Tuesday into Wednesday, does this start working its way more towards New Orleans? That definitely is on the table. We're just going to have to see how this weekend pans out. We'll talk more on that here in a second. As of right now, you can see that on the TAMCO Hail Guard. Look at all that moisture over there towards the eastern Gulf really pumping and flowing into the state of Florida. And then you start seeing this get a little bit more into the New Orleans region by the time we get into Wednesday and Thursday. And then look at this moisture start spreading into southeast Texas. Again, that high pressure, I'll show that in a second, gets over us by the middle to the end of this week. So that means that the flow can kind of open up somewhat out of the east. And if there is any moisture over there, that can start kind of working its way into our general region. So I say we dry out this weekend. We stay dry for early this week. Maybe we start seeing some moisture start working its way back into our region Wednesday afternoon, mainly Thursday into Friday. We really have to kind of watch just to see how all this pans out. I think this brings us a good little trend here. Here we are. Look, ridge right over us this weekend. We're hot, we're dry, but look over there towards the east. This particular model, it brings that pretty much kind of hugging the coastline. By the time we get into Wednesday, this possibly moves into New Orleans, this area of low pressure. So again, there is somewhat of this westward trend that this is moving closer to our area. So we'll keep watching it, but right now it looks like that moisture starts coming into our region more so Wednesday afternoon, but really starts kind of coming into the region Thursday and Friday. We'll keep watching this, just kind of showing this. We'll kind of go this into manual mode. Let's say, and I'll put this over here, let's say that this goes more into Florida. Again, this does not change the forecast regardless. This is a rainmaker right here. I don't expect this to, do much development of anything. Even if it does develop, it's a rainmaker. I don't expect anything major out of this, but I'm just showing that if this goes into the state of Florida, even goes into Alabama, it has really low odds of becoming anything tropical. Just keeps the rain chances really alive over there. But if this somewhat rides the coast and it starts tracking west on Tuesday, starts tracking west on Wednesday, doesn't really kind of make any land interaction, it's staying offshore, that's when it has the chance for some tropical development as it slowly moves westwards. We just want to watch what it does this weekend. Does it get a lot closer to Florida, loses its tropical development odds, but if it stays just offshore and then it starts working its way westward by the time we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, it does have the chance for some tropical development. But even then, this is a rainmaker for portions of the eastern Gulf and getting into the central Gulf by the time we get into the middle of this week. It's too far out to say that this 100% get into our region by the end of the week into next weekend. It's just too far out for that. But I do think we start seeing some of that moisture working its way by Wednesday into Thursday of this upcoming week. It is going to be dry today. You can see that on the Futurecast model. The only thing we're really kind of seeing is just some clouds kind of moving in and out of the region. We're not seeing any rain at all. Again, if we do have a little shower that develops or maybe even isolated storm, the coverage is very, 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 very low. This is a good weekend to cut hay. Even in fact, as we get into early this upcoming week, it looks pretty good as well too. So very hot, very dry this upcoming weekend. Not much going on in the rainfall outlook. And if in fact, here we are in a rainfall outlook. We are dry this weekend. Even dry Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday afternoon, maybe we start seeing some of that moisture coming into our region, and then it continues as we get into Thursday and Friday. Again, the coverage is not that high. We're just going to continue to see how much of that moisture really does work its way the middle to mainly the end of this upcoming week. But other than that, it is going to be mostly hot and dry this weekend, especially for a good chunk this week. This weekend, rain is focused into the eastern Gulf, really over there into portions of Florida, 2 to 3 inches as possible. Some isolated areas giving heavier amounts in portions of Florida. And then as we start getting into Tuesday, Wednesday, you start seeing that rainfall start creeping a little bit further westward, probably start sneaking closer to the New Orleans region. So we will have to just watch to see how this really pans out once we get to the middle of the week. How far towards the west does this really go? But high temperatures today, that's going to be the main thing we'll be talking about really this weekend, especially this early week into midweek. Several areas getting into the middle to upper 90s, but you see that a good portion like Houston and Beaumont, low to mid 90s down towards the coast. You're starting to say goodbye to the upper 80s, and you're starting to see more low 90s. So lots of 90s today, some areas into the mid 90s, some areas approaching the upper 90s. A very hot Saturday where sunscreen, stay cool. Thanks to our sponsor of Silsby Ford. And then overnight tonight, it's going to be clear, not much going on, but temperatures are going to be pretty muggy. Low to mid 70s across the I-10 corridor towards the north, and then I-10 down towards the coast, like Houston, Beaumont, Lake Charles, down to Galveston, Sabine Pass. Middle to upper 70s to low to mid 80s. The AC's definitely going to be working overtime this weekend, especially as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Look as the temperatures actually start getting somewhat warmer or hotter this upcoming week. Actually starting to see several areas getting close to the 100-degree mark. 98 degrees is what we're expecting on Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, we'll watch to see if any moisture starts kind of sliding into our region by the middle to mainly the end of the week. From what's going on at the eastern section of the Gulf, we've got lots of time to keep watching it. Same thing for southwest Louisiana. We're going to be hot and dry this weekend, especially Monday and Tuesday. Now, as we get into Wednesday, we'll see how much of that moisture starts coming in, but you start seeing that the rain coverage is a little bit better over there towards southwest Louisiana versus southeast Texas because that moisture will get to them first. But again, main story this weekend, especially for a good chunk of next week, it is hot, it is dry, stay cool, and wear the sunscreen, especially for the kiddos if they're out and about, swimming, outdoor sports, anything of that nature. Good time to go download our free Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. We're talking about some tropics in the eastern Gulf Coast, some of that moisture probably coming into our region later this week, so a good time to go download our app. It keeps you updated 24/7. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Saturday morning show. I know we've got lots to talk about, especially the tropics, but I don't see us really having to worry about this, especially in the short into the medium to long term. Or really, I should say the short to medium term. The long term is what we'll continue to keep watching. What does this do the end of the week into next weekend? As of right now, this looks to bring some moisture our general region. Kind of what we've done off and on this whole summer. We dry out for 3 to 4 days. We rain for 3 to 4 days. We dry out for 3 to 4 days. Get the picture. Y'all have a good Saturday. Thanks again for tuning in. I will see y'all again video-wise on Monday morning. But other than that, we'll have more posts throughout the day on Facebook, YouTube, and on our app. If y'all need anything, please message message us. Other than that, have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Saturday.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions is sponsored by
We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.